okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to speak up. Michael is very good at it. He's got a voice. He reads from the Torah every week, so. So I came to the office one morning and there is a message for me on the phone, and when I dialed, it was the Rebbitzin. I want to call her. I don't want to say Mrs. If you don't mind if I say Rebbitzin.
Say Miriam.
I left a message and it sounded a little urgent. She needs to talk to me. So I called right away and she said something to the effect, something what Monica just said. We were going to have the speaker and then the Rabbi Gettinger and myself heard you speak at the Sheva Brachot of our granddaughter, who is married to Yoni Jonas. And then she says, I want to tell you that the rabbi said, and I remember I wrote it down, he was so impressed with my speech, it was such a wonderful speech, that Rabbi Gettinger was blown away. That's what she said. I'm telling the truth, right? I'm not exaggerating. So far, I'm not exaggerating. So I thought to myself, those who say that flattery will get you nowhere have never been flattered. So I was very much flattered, and I accepted. I said, okay. I even remember saying, and did anybody ever refuse you if you ask him to do something? She didn't really respond to that. But, so I said, okay, I says, and how much will I get paid? I said,
It's up to you.
So in my mind, I was thinking about President Bill Clinton after he finished his service as President of the United States. After 8 years in Washington, you know how much he charged for a speech? This is what I was thinking. $750,000. And he only was...
No, only when she became Secretary of State.
Oh, is that right?
Before there was $250,000.
Yeah. Well, he charged $750,000 for a speech. So I know that we can't afford $750,000. So I wasn't even thinking about that much. But I had in mind maybe $7.50, something like that. And but when I said, am I going to get paid? I could hear a chuckle there on the other side. And then she hung up the phone, and it was over that part. So, and she actually mentioned to me, she never mentioned anything that I'm to speak about the beginning, the genesis of the academy. She just said, just repeat what you just said at the Sheva Brachot. So that's what I had in mind. But just yesterday in Shul, well, first I want to tell about Steve. You know, I asked Steve, how many people are you going to have tomorrow at this Hanukkah campaign dinner? And he said, I don't really know. But he said, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. And I agree with that. You know, when I look around, I think I know most of you, not everybody, most of you, and I really think it's quality, it really is. And I'm really delighted to be here and to talk to you. As far as the speech that I gave, it wasn't, I never considered it a speech. It was just some remarks that I made at my granddaughter's Sheva Brachot. But evidently it made an impression on some people. And some people are here today, tonight. So I do not want to repeat everything that I said then. But I will say something what I said, and then I'll since you suggested that I talk about the academy, I will tell you about two, I would call them episodes, which those two episodes are momentous for the academy. Momentous, I mean, it's something that happened that because we didn't know that whether we are going to start a day school or not, because the majority of the Jewish community was not interested in a day school, okay? So these two episodes made the difference whether we would start a day school or not. And I'll come to that. But I want to finish up, since you wanted to hear what I said at the Sheva Brachot. I do remember, in fact, the rabbi reminded me what I said, which was very nice because frankly, I didn't remember everything. Remember, I'm 85 years old, and slow down a little bit, so have patience with me. Now, I remember saying, some people do not believe in God, and do not believe in miracles, and certainly do not believe in angels. And I can test, but I'm not one of those people. I believe in God, and I believe in miracles, and I also believed in angels. Because I experienced certain things that are definitely, in my mind, considered miracles. In fact, the number one miracle is when, most of you probably know, I was born in a shtetl. I'm probably the only one alive that was born before World War II. And before we fled the Germans, and my dad, Olav Sholem, decided that this is what we were going to do, because nobody was leaving at the time when Hitler attacked. So we were under the Russian occupation. And nobody realized what was going to happen except my dad somehow, and I really believe it may have been an angel that whispered in his ear saying, and I quoted it last time, Lech lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladetecha u'mibet avicha, that you should leave, most of you understand what I said, leave your land, your birthplace, and your father's home, leave. And he, of course, nobody wanted to leave. The whole family says, oh yeah, the idea at the time, or the conventional wisdom was family stays together. And my dad says, no, we're not going to stay together. The Germans were, the front was already 20 kilometers away. And I even remember the dates. Not I don't remember, but I was told later on. It was June 28th, 1941. Hitler attacked the Soviet Union on the 22nd. And I know this, is Lana here? Where are you? Oh, there she is. Lana Friedman, she knows because we even spoke in Russian about that, because they made a song out of when they attacked the
2 июня ровно в 4 часа Киев бомбили, нам объявили, что началась война.
Which means Kiev was bombed by the Nazis, and the war started, and this was on the date was the 22nd of June, and now we are on the 28th of June, and my dad gave mother an ultimatum. Tonight I have a horse and buggy waiting, and we're going to leave. And she really resisted. And finally she gave in. 11 o'clock at night we took off. We also took along, because the neighbor came, and He was a tailor. He had 7 children. He had 4 boys, older than us, my brother and I. And I was 10 years old. My brother was 15 years old at the time, and they were about 18, 20, 22, and 24. And he said, Berish, that was my father's Yiddish name, I see that you are going to leave tonight. And my dad says, yes. He says, I have a bad feeling. He said, maybe would you take my boys with you? They'll maybe even help you on the road in a horse and buggy. It wasn't a covered wagon or anything, by the way. It was just a horse and buggy. And my dad said, okay, we will take him. And so 8 of us, my brother and I, my mother and dad, and those 4 Friedman boys, we were together, and we took off 11 o'clock at night. But mother resisted so much, and I remember her speaking in Yiddish, and I remember it vividly as tonight. She would be here tonight. Berish, that's my father's name in Yiddish. Zeist neemt us voort. You see anybody that's traveling, that's leaving? No? Why should we leave? He said, I'm telling you, we must leave. And finally, she gave in the last minute. We took off. It took us about several weeks on the road. And and imagine an open wagon, which means if it was raining or the weather, it was in June, and then run into July. And I don't remember how many weeks it took, but it took several weeks before we got on the train. And then the train took us all the way to Kazakhstan, where we stayed 4 years, or more than 4 years. And then I'll tell you about more miracles. I don't want to tell you all the miracles because there were so many. But long story short, about those of us who left, the four of us and everyone survived. When we returned in 1945 after the war, there was no one survived. Not one of our big family, and I mean big. I mean, from mother's side there were 8 children, and from father's side there were 9 children. So we had uncles and aunts and cousins and grandparents, and no one survived, except us. So I feel very strongly that this was a miracle. And when I lay dying in Kazakhstan, I had the typhus twice, and I overheard when I already was losing consciousness, but in between consciousness and being awake, I overheard the Russian doctor tell my parents that forget about your boy. He's not going to make it through the night. And I felt I was, but Hashem had different plans. And in the morning I felt better. Okay, so this is